Despite only being the fourth game in the series, Codemasters have decided to go and hit the reset button on Grid, and the result is a game that still is quite a bit like its predecessors. However, bar the incredible visuals and control, it feels like there's a little less of a game here right now, but with the promise of seasons and everything else, it will eventually get to there. But for those who want to jump in, play the base price and just have what's there already, maybe feel a little shortchanged, or at least if you don't want to play the same tracks over and over again, you may be a little disappointed. However, that is one of the only, if not the only negative I can say about that, and that's why I put it up front, because there is a caveat here, because otherwise this is one of the best feeling, best looking and enjoyable racing games I've probably ever played. And that's because Codemasters have, what they've done here is made a game that is brimming with confidence, style, and knows exactly what it is. If you've played other Codemasters games of the last year or so, you'll know they're very specific, tailored experiences that hit the hardcore side of things more than the casual. Here in Grid, everything is streamlined, the controls feel slightly arcadey, and it's just an absolute joy to actually have your hands on the wheel or a controller or whatever means of or method you use to use and play these driving games. It just feels unbelievably satisfying, to the point where I just smiled pretty much every time a race was going. And what's good about with this game as well is it's very quick to get you into the next event or onto another discipline where you're controlling different sets of cars, where things may feel a little different, because despite the casual and more arcadey nature of the game, cars do feel quite different as you're throwing them around the corner, which you will feel, because like I was saying, you can be a lot more aggressive in this game about attacking corners. Braking can be taken a lot more aggressive and you won't spin out as often. However, there is a whole tuning system here where you can make it more realistic, and hitting on the accelerator a bit too hard can lead to you spinning out. But for me, the default setup is by far the best way to play this game, and you just move between events so quickly. Every single race you can just go and start from near the back of the grid, or you can do a hot lap qualifying, which is one lap, and then you have your place on the grid, and it's just quick and you go in. And most events themselves only have 1, 2, 3 or 4 races. There's not a ton to each one, and there's so much to make it feel like they are cohesive. Because let's say you have a sort of a race where you sort of bang up the left side of your car and it's all scratched and dented. When you move on to the next race, those cosmetic damages will persist. It just adds a bit of like wholeness and continuity to it that you don't normally get. It doesn't make much of a difference, but it's one of those cool things. One of the best things as well, though, beyond just the car model and how it feels, is the AI. The AI is surprisingly realistic despite it being an arcade game. People will be aggressive, they'll attack corners as well, they'll move in and out. They won't just be a line of following one another, hitting the best line when they hit the apex and everything. Some racers will, everyone feels like they have a bit more of a personality. Some racers will take the corners tightly and slow down. Others will aim to drift around them and attack them pretty like head on, which means they can make mistakes. And it's very often that you will see cars take corners too heavily and just not be able to handle it. And that's just a ton of fun to see, because it really mitigates the lack of track variety when you have those factors that change up the race entirely. And also, like, you have things like day and nights, and that can change what goes on the track, which I'll get to now in a moment. But the other thing about the AI I need to sort of bring up and point out as one of its biggest selling points is the Nemesis. Well, maybe not a system, but there's the Nemesis feature in the game where if you be a little too aggressive with a car, trade paint with it too much, and maybe bang into the back or side of it, they will become a nemesis, and they will get some stats boost, which means they will drive better and faster and be able to catch up to you, let's say. And what I love about it is they have no problem trying to take you out, even if it means losing for them. Unfortunately, I didn't capture, but there was one moment where I was doing one of the longer races and I made a nemesis, and literally as I was getting to the second last corner, the nemesis was trailing me the whole time, right on my ass, and they decided not to slow down at this tight corner and instead just completely take me out, took themselves out as well, and I had no more rewinds. And it was just this infuriating but simultaneously brilliant moment to appreciate that you just don't get in other games against the AI. And I couldn't help but just feel like it's the only game you'll get get this happening, and have this happening, I should say. And it's just a purely like joyful moment. But as I was saying, like the controls in this game just feel so damn good. Like they're just so satisfying. I smiled the whole time I played it. I never stopped smiling while I was playing this game. And that doesn't mean the game's perfect. Like I was saying, there's a lack of tracks. There's a lack of motivation and modes to maybe keep you going beyond just racing and enjoying the racing. But thankfully the racing is so good that I didn't really mind all that much that I was racing on the same tracks, and the different disciplines can mix things up a little. But then you also have like the different weather and time of days, and like if like I was reviewing this game on PC and having this at 4K max settings in the night when it's raining is just it's something that needs to be seen. It's just so unbelievably beautiful to look at. It's just such a fun, great game. It's not going to be one of the best games ever released, and it's just one of those games that just while it's on and while you're playing it, you really just are enjoying yourself. And then when you walk away, you go, yep, that was fun, and you'll move on. And I don't mean like you won't return to the game, because there is a fair bit to do. You have a decent leveling system. You don't earn XP by completing an event, you do it by how you play. So the better and more aggressive and sort of risks you take, the more you'll get in speed, technique and bravery. So if you really want to be technical, you can hit corners perfectly, earn XP. You can drive fast and brake hard, and you will earn speed XP, and then also bravery by, you know, doing drifts and slingshot, overtaking people. And the levels up always give you some cosmetics. There's plenty to unlock, there's plenty to customize. But realistically, this game is all about when your hands are on the wheels, on the track, and it's an absolute joy to play.